one of my presents from my mom, before I start doing anything that's going to make a mess, I got a new little silicone mat for my table. This one's fancy. It's got like a little... This is a collapsible water cup. I'm going to leave it collapsed for now because I'm not getting any water, but it's also got like little paint palette sections and little brush drying sections. So this is super nice. I think it will actually be really helpful when I'm doing resin stuff to have like the little brush section, because I can rest all my tools in there and they won't just be rolling all around my table. Ooh, a cat stroller, fun. It also has little rulers on the bottom, which is where that Freudian slip came from. Yeah, so it's a really nice little mat. This is magnetic too. So we'll just, you know, super nice. This is going to be probably one of my favorite presents that I got this year. She also got me the monster manual for Dungeons and Dragons, which I have been learning some Dungeons and Dragons monsters. And also studying up more on the different creatures that I can transform into as a druid, which is very fun. Just trying to find... Okay, I've got... Oh, off to the side. I set myself up so that I wouldn't have to, like, walk all over my room to grab stuff for different projects. I'm just grabbing all of my sanding and carving tools. Oh no. Okay. So, I think I'm going to start on the little one. Because I have had a couple of requests to make more middies in the same style as my little ghost girl. This is my ghosty girl, Mina. And every time I bring her out with me, she is very popular. So I've had a few requests to make more little ghosty girls. So I think that's what I'm going to do today, is just do another little small face. They're not my favorite to carve because they're so tiny. It's really, really easy to make a mistake that is not fixable. So I have to work twice as slow as I normally would. But I do need to practice. So I think that's what I'm going to do next. And this was one of my Christmas presents, my pretty purple knives. I'm working on color coding all of my stuff so that it all matches and looks nice. Put those over here. Oh my gosh. Thank you, Casey. Thank you for the sub. I don't know why it didn't play the audio. It should have. Sorry, I have a whole bunch of notifications all at once. Oh, it's just telling me that stuff was delivered. Obviously I just opened the doll that was delivered, so I'm aware. Okay. I don't know why it didn't play the thing. Do I not have it on this one? Let me switch for a second. Oh, no, my camera's not working on the gaming one. I was going to switch to my gaming setup for a minute to see if maybe that was the issue, but that camera's not functioning. My audio's not functioning on one of them. The camera's not working on the other one. It would not be a spooky stream if there were not technical difficulties. This is a little raggedy. If I can get out my sanding block. Here we go. Probably need to order more replacement blades in this size, But for now, I just keep sharpening this one. The blade is just getting like gradually shorter. But I mean, it still works, so the only thing with this is I can't carve too long because it's really hard on my hands. And my hands are kind of achy lately. So we may have to take a gaming break a little earlier than I had planned. But that's okay. This one, I think. Yeah. Yes. So, store that one back in there for now. Oh my gosh, I know that feeling, Casey. Yeah, that's how my streams go, Drea. Okay. Who is squawking outside? There's a very upset bird somewhere in my vicinity. I know you guys probably can't hear it, but I swear it sounds like it's right outside my patio door. It's not, but it sounds like it. Oh no. I'm getting bunny furs on this already. Okay. Alright, so before I carve, I must remove all of the makeup. I also need to turn a light on. It's not going to be super helpful because this light takes some time to warm up, but hopefully. Oh, you know what? I can turn this light up too. Let me make sure I don't turn it up too much. There we go. Okay. Much better. Nope. Maybe not. This camera, the light adjustments, I don't know how to turn off the auto light adjustments because they get confused by my pasty ass hands. I'm too pale. They don't know what to do with me. All right. Usually the 600 grit is enough to get all the makeup off. Yeah. See, it's doing a pretty good job getting all the blush, all the eyeshadow, all of that. Just because if you don't take it off first, sometimes when you carve into the face, it'll get embedded into little grooves as you carve, and then you will never be able to get it out. So I like to take all of the makeup off first and just generally get it roughed up really well. Which also makes it easier to make pencil marks on the face so that you know that your carving is staying symmetrical and you're only carving the places that you want to carve. I just got new sanding sponges at the end of last year. I was using my same micro mesh. Oh, I think I threw away the one that was really bad. I was going to show how bad it was. I was using the same micro mesh for the last like 5 or 6 years through all of the dolls that I've made. Made and remade, or, you know, touched up for people. Just all of the many projects that I used in my micro mesh for, to the point where they were literally crumbling. Like the colored sandpaper would crumble into the areas that I was sanding, and I'd have like brown or purple or green dust. And it was creating extra work for myself, but I'm one of those people that's like, I can't throw away a tool if it still works. And I kept convincing myself that no, this still works. It's working fine. I'm not going to buy new ones. And then finally, I had my sponge like embed little brown bits of sandpaper into a faceplate that I had a really hard time, probably spent about 20 extra minutes getting the little brown bits of sandpaper unembedded out of the face, and finally managed to convince myself that it was time to invest in some new sanding sponges. And I don't know why it took me so long, because the things, like, it costs like $10-15 for a full pack of sponges, and I really only use the 600 and the 1000. I don't I don't even really use the other ones. But anyway, I got new ones now, and this goes so much faster. This whole face is now sanded. That took, what, 60 seconds maximum? Other than this little bit in the mouth, which always takes the extra tool to get out, just because you can't get in there with a sponge. But all of the eyeshadow, all the blush, the whole face is now smooth. That used to take me a good 10 minutes some days. Depending on how stubborn the factory makeup was being, it would be anywhere from 5 to 10 minutes. That took maybe 60 seconds today. I frustrate myself so much sometimes, unnecessarily, just because I don't want to spend the money. And to be fair, I am broker than broke, so it's not like I have a whole lot of disposable income, but I can definitely afford $10 to cut down my work time to a tenth of what it was before, you know? Okay. I also did not grab a wet rag to wipe all the dust off of here, but that's fine. Alright, so I'm going to get in there with my tools and just get the last of that makeup off. There we go. Try to keep an eye on my time too, because I have to make sure that I like get up and stretch and eat and drink water if I'm going to be doing a longer stream today. All of the important self-care things that I get hyper focused and forget to do. Okay. All right. So that is fully cleared now. And I can start with my pencil. First, want to mark out my center points. Go right down the whole middle of the face. And then I'm going to want to mark out. I'm going to keep the bottom of the nose right where it is, so I want to mark that. I kind of want to round it out to about here. So I'm going to mark across to each of the eyes so that I can make sure that I'm keeping symmetrical, and this one is already going a little off center, so we're going to fix that. Alright, and I'm not going to mark anything around the eyes because I'm not going to carve the eyes. I do think I need to bring this one down a little bit. Alright. Now, this one a little bit just slightly off too, I can tell, because it's not in the middle of the little chin dimple. Okay, try that again. There we go. Okay. Everything looks centered, symmetrical now. So now I can, oh, where did this go? Oh, I missed a whole bunch of your comments, Drea. Sorry. I guess it's a good thing I hit the wrong button because I wouldn't have seen them. There we go. Okay. All right. So if I'm trying to make a face similar to Mina, I'm going to put Mina in front of me. So Mina's nose is a little bit more rounded off. It's not quite as pointy. So I'm going to do a little circle where I'm going to kind of flatten that and round it off more. I think I just did, yeah. That looks about right. Okay. So we'll do that. I'm going to draw the nostrils. Round those a bit more too. And then I want to bring the nostrils up here down just a little bit. Give her kind of like a little button nose. So I'm going to take like a little wedge shape. And then I'm going to also just kind of smooth that section. All right, it looks a little goofy right now, but it's sort of a trust the process thing. This is just how my brain works. I also need to draw around the edges here because I'm going to take that back. Oh, we're starting to get a little asymmetrical here. That's why I keep all my lines. All right. So you can kind of start to see the shape that I'm looking to carve out here. I'm going to also mark the lips, although I may do them as a separate step. So do that. Oh, I need to do the philtrum when I do the nose, so I need to mark that too. All right, I think I did more of a downward carve on Mina, so I need to take this whole section here and kind of flatten a little bit. Because it's kind of hard to show, but there is like a little bit of a smile carved into the face there, and I want to take it more downwards into more of a pout. So I'm going to just start with that. Just mark off where the bottom lip goes so that I don't accidentally carve into it. Okay. Now, first, chop off the tip of the nose. Just part always feels a little bit brutal, but it's the fastest way to get a more rounded nose, is to just chop the pointy bit off. Alright, no, I'm not going to go in with that yet. We're going to do this, and need a rounded head first. Just to smooth everything. Oh, that's not okay. So I'm going to smooth that out. Alright. Just kind of trying to rotate it and look at it from every angle. Make sure that I got it nice and smooth before I move on to anything else. And it's obviously, it's not going to be perfectly smooth at the first step. There's a lot more sanding that will come into play later to smooth it perfectly. I just want to make sure there's no like major lumps or anything like that. And it looks pretty good. Okay, so next I want another rounded one, but with a smaller tip, so that I can get all of this area around the nose. This is where that working slowly really comes into play, because usually I'll turn my Dremel all the way up, and for this I've got it like maybe halfway. And you can't pull, like when you're carving when I'm carving a Blythe face, I do a lot of like pushing and pulling. But with the middies, I just kind of have to tap. It's much smaller motions. The drill is moving slower. And I mean, there is a little bit more room for error in some respects because this plastic is actually thicker. So you can carve it down a lot more before you get into problems. But because all the features are so much smaller, if you carve too much into the nose or something, it's a lot easier to make a mistake that you can't come back from. Oh no, a spam comment. Can I get rid of them here? I think I have to. I need to get a channel mod. I think I have to actually go to my Twitch to. There we go. All right. I do not need promotion. Thank you. Hey Toasty, welcome back. Gotta make sure staying symmetrical here. I actually think I need to bring that in a little bit more on one side. Okay. So I feel like that's okay. Ooh, hand is starting to get a little tingly. Just gonna put my lines back in really quick so I can make sure it's all still lining up. That went really wavy. Wavy lines are not helpful markers for symmetry. I can't tell if it's going wavy just because I need to sand it more or because my hand is shaking. Let's try one more time. No, I don't think it's because it's rough. Okay. I think we're still looking pretty symmetrical here, which is good. Start the nostrils. This is a little bit more scary of a step because this is one where it's very easy to mess it up permanently. Okay. Where did I put the little... That's okay, we've got our magnetic thing over here. Okay. So, for the nostrils I need a pointy head. Oh man, honestly, my favorite part is probably close to the end when I really start to see like all of the parts coming together and I can like really feel the personality of the doll starting to be born. But I enjoy every part of it. Every part has its fun bits and its frustrations. And the anxieties. With the exception of drilling nostrils. I think this is probably my least favorite part. I have to turn this up because it's just not getting into the plastic. Alright, there we go. Make sure I get the angle right on here. Oh, hold up. We got some plastic buildup. Okay. Here we go. Oh, this one's starting to go low. Gotta pick it up a little bit. There we go. When it starts throwing out little spirals of plastic, those little plastic boogers, that's my signal to myself that the nostril is drilled deep enough. Alright, so that's when I get the little drilly head off and go in with, I need one of these little almond shaped ones. They're like this, but I think I have one that's a little bit smaller. I'm pretty sure I have one size down from that. Yep, here we go. Here's the teeny tiny one. Oh, there's the empty one I was looking for. I have a million of these little Dremel heads, and I always feel like I still don't have the right size half the time. I need to go just to like a hobby shop that sells these and buy specific sizes. Alright. So, now that the little holes are in there, I'm just going to widen and shape them a little bit. I just take this one, this little head with the little point on the end, and just kind of wiggle it around so that it widens them and gives them more natural shape rather than just a little hole drilled in. And on a full-size Blythe doll, I would just kind of put it in and then just sort of wobble it around. But again, because these are Middies and all of their features are so much smaller, you just kind of have to tap. So it's a slower process. This is actually where I would probably say I spend the most time other than drawing eyebrows on, because it's so easy to make a mistake that I have to work so slowly. Because if you make one wonky looking nostril, there's no coming back from that. They gotta stay symmetrical. They have to be shaped right. They gotta be the right depth. It's definitely the most stressful part. It's not my favorite step. And there are definitely people that are better at this than me. But if I can just get nostrils that are roughly the same size and shape, I'm generally happy with that. Especially on these little Middie heads. it in. I feel like this is also the stage where you have to stop more frequently because you can't get plastic buildup on the tip or it'll melt together and form into a hard plastic bead. And then that plastic bead will start carving instead of the Dremel head. Oop. Trying to get that end come out more. All right. Well, we're going a tiny bit off center here, so I think I'm going to try and pull that back before I move on. Try and fix that. I need my little sharp head again. Just to try and move this one back towards the center just a tiny bit. It won't be super noticeable because these heads are so little. So I'm not going to make like a major adjustment. Just kind of trying to pull that center edge back towards the middle of the nose a little bit. And then I'm going to try and carve out the bottom of the nostrils. Get that little separation. This one needs to go more this way. All right. I don't even know if it's noticeable to anybody who isn't me, but I feel like that's a little bit more centered now. So I'm gonna leave that where it is for the moment.